I'm going to be lonely. Where's Marc?
That's right. And welcome to another episode of Moped Outlaws. This one is not entitled Where's Marc? It is a very lighthearted yet somehow serious visit.
He's calling us from his hospital bed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard not to be serious when there's monitor things stuck on your hairy chest. I was like, I almost asked him, BNick, you got to put your shirt on. And he's like, I thought better of that once I realized what was going on. I was like, and you know what? He shines through all of it. Like, this episode is really thoughtful. He is a very entertaining, devoted man, but it's also joyful, even from a hospital bed, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And we got caught sort of in the preamble. We were not so sure we were going to have BNick, and he snuck into the studio without us knowing, and so he caught us with a little banter, which is funny. All in all, this is definitely a great episode. Y'all are going to enjoy it. What a treasure he is to humanity.
Yeah, so enjoy some BNickEnergy, support Blast, Compton Cowboys, ping us, hit us up, and subscribe, and drink Adrenochrome Cola.
Sis, hallo?
Blijven.
Zeker wegen them.
Yo, iets niet, joh.
Two outlaws on the lam, taking the back roads through America.
You can't drink enough coffee for this show.
And now it's time for Monday Madness with the Moped Outlaws, Greg and Marc.
Welcome to another episode of the Moped Outlaws. Today we are blessed and excited to have BNickEnergy with us, a man who needs no introduction, but who is a podcaster, a forecaster of life, a persevering dude who's currently on the podcast from the hospital. And we aren't violating any HIPAA laws because he's given consent. Welcome to the podcast, BNick. How are you?
Hey, I'm glad to be here, guys.
Well, we're glad to have you, sir. So may I ask, and we'll just cut this if, we go into, but
I'm an open book. You can ask me anything.
All right. Are you back in because of your kidney?
Yes.
Wow.
Unfortunately, when donating a kidney, it's harder on the healing process for the recipient or for the donor than it is on the recipient's end.
Wow. This has been something you've been dealing with for a couple years now, at least, right?
Yeah, I spent 56 weeks in the hospital last year. Wow. I had like 5 surgeries. I had sepsis like 6-7 times. And I had spent like a good solid 56 weeks in the hospital.
So how do you keep your hope up to be alive? Because you seem like a very positive guy.
You know why? I mean, I'm a full-time girl dad, even though my daughter just started her freshman year at San Diego State University.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, she's gonna play basketball out there. And, my daughter, I have my own business, but I also live stream. So being a live streamer, even from the hospital, I was live streaming because making people laugh, just like podcasting, entertaining people and being a part of their day is just something I enjoy doing.
A purpose-filled life.
Yeah, but I enjoyed the podcasting side way more than I did the live streaming side. Even though I had a lot of success at it, it's less toxic.
Yeah, because all the comments aren't flowing in with all kinds of nasty things to say about different subjects. So you're still live streaming. What's your viewership like?
When I live stream, I get about 300-400 views for a male streamer, which isn't bad.
Yeah, that's good.
And what's your chosen platform? What do you like best?
I use Favorited, which is like a version of TikTok, but it's a US version. And I use Meet Me, which was one of the first streaming platforms that was out there. Used to be My Yearbook and then turned into Meet Me. And it was one of it used to be connected with Plenty of Fish, and it's connected with Zeus and they're pretty huge. I mean, there's a lot of money that's thrown across that app. Like, there's people that throw $15,000 to $20,000 a month on that app gifting.
Dang.
That's great. That's really great. And they started out as dating apps, but now they've become more social apps for you.
Yeah, they've all of them. Like, Kik used to be a messaging app, KIK, not KICK, but the KIK app. They now are part of the Meet Me family. And Tagged, they're all part of the same family. And they all started off as some part of like social media on one end and then converted into the streaming world. So it's easier for them to, what they do is they change the names, but they use all the same GIFs. So when a new GIF comes out on one, they just multiply it for all of them.
Wow.
So for those of us who are older and don't really swim in this field very much, there's this idea of you're on a live stream and GIFs are being generated as part of the live stream along with comments. And those are monetizations for you. How does that work?
Okay, so when I stream, every 80K I get gifted accumulates to $200. Every 1 million I'm gifted breaks out into a $2,500 cash app. Now my total on Meet Me is 27.5 million.
Okay.
That's great. And
So
so
that pays the rent.
Yeah, so I mean, I did well. It was a side hustle, but to me, the bigger part of it was where my legacy ended. Okay, that was the whole point of me. Like, I have a business. My whole point was to have a legacy in social media before I was done. Okay, just like my podcast, my stream's the same way. I like people to laugh and I like people to think, and I try to do one of each every time I'm on, no matter what the platform is. If I'm podcasting, I will definitely make you laugh that episode, but I'll also say something that I want you to think about. Maybe it's a characteristic you have. Maybe it's a personality trait. Maybe it's something going on in the world.
All right. So what would be something that would be a thinking topic right in this moment?
Okay, so one of the newer ones to think of it off the top of my head was the fact that China is now developing AI, an actual robot that can actually birth a baby, that can hold a human baby.
yeah, artificial womb.
Wow.
And yeah, and the whole question I always ask people is, do they believe that AI is good or bad for the world? Have you seen enough AI that you can determine when something's fake and when something's real? Because I know there's sometimes I have to double take on something.
I think it's gotten to the point where I honestly don't know. I think they can now recreate something even with video these days, and I can't tell that it's fake.
See,
I'm pretty good at it. I'm going to go the other way with Greg. I'd say I'm going to just put up the AI fake, the deep fake, like, challenge. Go ahead, folks. Send one, put one in the comments to this video, whatever you need to do. I'll suss it out every time.
Wow. See, to me, I can suss it out if I question it, because then I'll go deep dive. I'll go down that rabbit hole. I will look it up every which way, Google
I
it.
just have Grok.
Well, see, that's the all right. Like, yeah.
Is that the humorous portion of the show? I hope.
No, not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Well, you know me, Greg. I'll keep trying.
Yeah, if you do a deep dive on a piece of content, of course, I'm talking about in plain
naked eye.
Naked eye. Yeah, it's being shown to you, and in that moment,
I stand by what I said.
all right, I'm gonna
see, not me. I'm like 60-40. 60-40. All right, 60, I can get it. 40% of the time, I may not. It just depends on what it is. Like, if it's something in the ocean that's really big, like something like you like, is that a megalodon maybe? I'm like, okay, well, maybe that could be real.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, of course, if I show you a video of Bigfoot, you're going to be like, already you're.
Oh, don't start, Greg. Those Bigfoots that are drinking beers and holding cameras, those are real.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's not too much. I use those to advertise the podcast on Instagram. not too much.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot you were doing that. All right. Before we go too much further, I need to know Dodgers or Giants?
Me, I'm a Red Sox fan, but you go with the Dodgers over Giants.
That's it. This podcast is over. My brother's cheering you, however.
Yeah, I go with Dodgers over the Giants, even though my favorite pitcher of all time plays for the Giants, which is Justin Verlander.
All right. I'm involved enough to just talk shit with my brother.
So you're a Giants fan, huh?
I am, and they lost last night, so they're out. And they lost to the Dodgers. But I just noticed your hat's got everyone on it. Yeah. And I gotta say,
not everyone. It appears to be the National League.
No, it has the Red Sox. And
okay. All right. You're right.
Yeah.
It's not enough room for all the teams on that hat, but still, I get it.
No, they have them on the back too.
Oh. Houston,
Orioles,
Boston,
Red
Texas.
Sox. How come the Boston Red Sox?
That's because I was born in Boston.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah. I was born in the Dorchester section of Boston, and I'm a diehard Celtics, Red Sox, Pats, and Bruins fan.
Nice. Very cool.
I still go back up north. Now I live at the Jersey Shore.
See, that's okay. I thought you were deeper in the South.
Why do you think
it's just the way the two accents coexist together?
Why do you think New Jersey doesn't have a significant baseball, football, or hockey team?
Because New Jersey is such a latch-on state. Okay? So the way it is if you're from North Jersey, most of them want to be from New York. Most of them work in New York and just commute back and forth and live in Jersey. So they latch on to New York culture. In South Jersey, like I live in a town called Cape May, which is almost identical to Cape Cod. It's Victorian. It's very known. People like Cruz and Oprah and all of them come here. But everybody in South Jersey from I'd say Atlantic City South, they all jump on the Philadelphia teams. So that's why Jersey never gets a presence for a professional team, because they each, depending on what part, is what team you latch on, with sprinkled a few Dallas Cowboy fans here.
So there's an opportunity here for the NFL to start a new team, I think.
I would love for them to have a Jersey team.
What would we name it?
The Jersey Spikes.
They could name it the Garden State Guardians.
There you go. Garden State Guardians. There you have it. Let's get going on that. Who's got $5 billion that wants to build a new NFL franchise? I hear it's pretty lucrative. I just
heard that Disney just bought a franchise. They're going to let Disney start a 33rd team in the NFL.
Wow.
That's fantastic. What we need, Tinkerbell running around on the field trying to make field goals.
They said that they can guarantee the league that their stadium will be filled out every game. I don't know how they can guarantee, unless they just do a whole lot of attraction stuff to it too.
I'm sure they will. I mean, once you're a Disney cast member, that stadium is going to be just full of all of that lovely wonderfulness, from Mickey to Goofy to Star Wars. They're just going to
know what I'm thinking. They have ESPN.
Yes.
And I'm thinking of the Giants stadium. They have this whole section that's for kids. Yep. So I imagine you get the dads there with their family and kids, and their dads are like, yeah, I'll go watch a game while you guys go do your thing.
Like an ESPN Sports Zone where kids can play games like a Dave and Buster's. And that's what I said. They'll probably figure a way to do it. But yeah, they bought a 33rd franchise, and wow. I mean, because technically Orlando's the biggest city. They consider it the biggest city in Florida that doesn't have a team.
Yeah, so the Orlando
Musketeers.
Going up against the Vegas Raiders.
No, I'd be the Orlando Jedi.
Yo, I actually would like that if they did a Star Wars name. Would be pretty cool.
Right, the Vaders.
Yeah, they could do something like they would have to because they
The
were
Orlando
saying
Force.
if they do something like the Orlando Minnie Mouse is like, I'm done. I'm not going.
No, that ain't gonna work. It has to have something with power and drive in it, right? Like the Orlando Emperors or the Orlando Stormtroopers. That might work.
See, they
White
could
uniform.
do anything since they have the rights to Star Wars
Yeah.
and Marvel. They could do any of that could make it
The
cool.
Avengers, Orlando Avengers. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
The
See?
whole Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Now I gotta reach out to them and be like, listen, I got an idea.
Great idea.
I want
Actually.
pitch. I'm surprised they don't have a baseball team.
They're working on it probably, but it's not. Baseball's not as lucrative.
You don't think so?
Nope. I don't think they are. I mean, let me ask my AI and see what it says.
Speaking of AI, I think like NFL was the most lucrative worldwide even, but in recent years, football, like soccer, has been.
I know soccer's starting to get its popularity, but like I just thought with baseball, because like the ticket prices have gone up so much. Plus, they have more games, home games, than any sport.
That's true.
They did because they have the 81 at home and then 81 on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, the money's in broadcast. It's not in attendance.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like a lot of teams don't want to broadcast it anymore.
Well, no
Right,
one
so
really
here-
wants to watch baseball on TV.
I actually like baseball. In fact, I don't like the whole pitcher's timing rule. I think I get why, but I didn't like that change. I guess that was 3 years ago they changed that rule. But here's the data.
Yeah.
According to Gemini, which is the Google AI, the National Football League is significantly more lucrative than the Major League Baseball League, both in total revenue and per team. So in fiscal 2024, the NFL's total revenue was more than $23 billion. And the MLB was a record-setting $12.1 billion. So almost twice as much, both on a per-team basis and then on a overall league team.
Well, I'm glad you got that clear because now I'm going to cancel my bid for a Major League Baseball team, switch over to NFL.
Yeah, me too. And I was about to go buy a franchise.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be really fun would be to take and cross game them, set it up so that a Major League Baseball team had to play a football game against an NFL team, and then have an NFL team play a baseball game against a Major League Baseball team, and just see what happened.
See, I pitched at Arizona State, and that was my thing. Like, I was always wanting to be a pro ball player until I tore my rotator senior year.
Damn.
And then I went into corrections after that.
Damn, B-Nick.
Corrections.
Then I opened my security staffing firm and got out of corrections because that life sucks.
Yeah, I worked for a company called Zabo for 2 years, which did food service and corrections. So
How'd you like
feel
that?
ya.
Did
Were
you deliver to the prisons?
No, I was the associate executive chef, which meant that I was in the kitchen with the inmates. Every morning, it was my job to look up their rap sheets and figure out who I could give potato peelers and knives to chop vegetables to. Let me tell you, that was fun.
Damn.
I met some famous rappers in there.
Yeah, I met Jason Williams,
Who's that?
the one who shot his chauffeur in the NBA.
Oh,
Who else did I meet? What was his name? Irving Fryer.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah, from when he
So
did
were
all
you in
the
the
money
guard
laundering.
side of things, in the security side of things?
Yeah, I prefer doing the security staffing firm compared to being in corrections.
So was that county?
Yes, I was county and then state.
Oh,
That sounds pretty
Because my
lucrative.
county, because with county, I started off with a 5-year, $81,000 contract. But then when I jumped to state, it was 5 years and 101 with overtime. And then I ended up opening my own business like 2 years into it and left.
So I'm wondering, like Marc has heard me say that I think our policing system is very violent, that it's just the mode of operation is immediate violence first in a situation. And your whole scene is kindness. Like you even say, finding kindness.
I always try to listen. That's my big thing, even on the podcast. Like, even when I talk about deep stuff, like I always end everyone with that the world is in a place where we need kindness, because I feel right now that is what we need the most. So, yeah, that's why I always tell you guys, like, yeah, I focus on my podcast, having a laugh, or having my podcast be in a way that people can enjoy it. And it's not, I mean, listen, there's times it gets toxic. Absolutely, because I bring different people on.
We can't hear you.
Your mic just muted.
Oh, that was my finger that covered it. I'm sorry. I was fixing my chair. But there's times I bring on different personalities, and it tends to get a little toxic. And I use an app called Podbean, and Podbean has a live chat. So there's times that random people come into my chat. And there's times that I get some of the people that follow me to come in. And then I let people come up in the bubble, almost like a call in. So like I'll do questions to try to add a different dynamic at times. You know, it's almost like working out. Like I try to change it up so that the body doesn't get used to just one way. So I switched it up, and I like to do the chat and bring them up during the middle of the podcast. But it gets toxic. You get people that want to troll just as much as you do on a streaming platform.
You know, Marc shared an experience he had where there was someone at a nightclub that was toxic and like kind of just itching to fight. And Marc's partner said he needs love. And Marc turned to him like, hey, how you doing? And the guy's like, ah. And Marc said, wait, how are you doing? Really checking in with the guy. And the guy changed. Have you experienced that in your streaming or podcasting where someone comes in like a troll and you give them kind attention and you say,
oh yeah, I actually turned one of my biggest streaming haters on Meet Me into a loyal fan and a co-host at times. Like, this guy hated me for 2 years of streaming, but then was like, you know what? I love your show. And if you ever want me to come on, I'll come on. He's like, you know, you just tell it the way it is and you're always real. And I'll come on. And I said, not you being the same person that trolled me for 2 years and now you're a groupie.
Would you say a groupie?
A groupie.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So since you started on dating apps as your main casting source, have you been like out there getting a lot of like attention from the gal pals? Like how's that going for you?
I get my fair share of attention.
That's awesome. That's great.
I mean, you know what? Because I put it out there anyway. I'm a personality that's out there anyway. And I still coexist on Meet Me, even though I'm not streaming much. I still go out and hang out. I still turn around and have my face all over Instagram, and I do my videos at times and put clips. So because I mingle with so many streamers from different platforms, inevitably, I want to be with someone who's a content creator. I want somebody who can enjoy laughing like I do. And I think it's hard that when people can't do that, to have that dynamic of a relationship, that you're trying to make it work, where you like to laugh and you do content creating and they don't really get why you do it or what the purpose of it. So it ends up becoming more difficult. So I try to find someone who actually understands the dynamic of either podcasting or YouTube or streaming. So therefore, you don't have that macro issue.
Right. That's important. So real quick, Chinese food or Italian?
Italian.
Marinara or bolognese?
Bolognese.
Yeah. Gotta have that beef.
I love bolognese. Listen, I'm half Irish, half Italian. So my mom was
half wise ass.
Huh?
I'm half wise ass.
Oh, I'm 100% sometimes.
He's the other half wise ass.
Pointed the wrong way.
So how long have you guys been podcasting?
This is our 5th season.
So about
That's
5 years.
awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. And we're getting better and better. We're up to 8 listeners.
Listen, that's one thing I see is like sometimes I'll go really high with my listens, and sometimes it fluctuates, and I'm like, sometimes it makes me feel like maybe it's me, but then sometimes people are just like, it's the weather and people aren't always doing stuff because they're busy. But I get that way where I catch it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to take it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when someone listens to you every day for like 2 months and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I haven't listened in a few weeks. You're like, what the hell?
Like being ghosted.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, a lot of my people, which people don't get to see, which I hate, is a lot of my people, just like when I streamed, I was the same type of streamer, which I would have been higher on the all-time board if I was greedy. But I care too much about people. And because I care and I make it personal, it gets messy in streaming world. I don't look at people like a paycheck or like money. So I give people access to me. And I see it with my podcast. Like some people will be like, you don't get a lot of comments. I do when I go live chat, but I don't on my regular board. And it's because so many people just DM me on Instagram and will be like, yo, I heard that episode with the Moped gang and, you know, you guys were amazing. And they'll ask me questions directly through Instagram. And I'm like, could you just do this through the comment section next time?
Yeah, that'll drive my engagement a little bit. I need that.
Yeah. I'm wondering, BNick, is it all right to refer to you as BNick?
Yeah.
All right. So what is your relationship with your friend right now that you gave one of your kidneys to?
He is still my best friend. He is like a brother to me. Blood wouldn't be any closer. He's been my best friend for 23 years. And he has stood between me and anything that's ever tried to hurt me. So his son needing a kidney was a no-brainer when I was a perfect match. And if it was my daughter, he would have done the same thing.
Man. I mean, so that hasn't like come up guilt with the fact that you're the one who's ending up in the hospital all the time, and
he feels it. He does. He may not always say it, but he definitely feels it. Because when I'm in the hospital, he'll be like, "What do you need? You need anything?"
That's cool.
He'll be 2 hours away doing something, and he'll be like, "Yo, I'm gonna be home by like 6:30. Do you need me to swing by and drop off anything?" Like he tries to make it as easy as possible.
That's awesome. That's all. You know what that reminds me of is sometimes our own guilt, the negative thoughts we have, will stop us from doing a kindness because we start questioning the motivation of the kindness. But a kind act is a kind act.
And that was kind of the thing people can't fathom. And I always got trolled about that in the streaming world. And I think it's because a lot of people in the streaming world couldn't get behind how somebody could do something so thoughtlessly and so unselfishly and not think twice about it. And because of that, I think a lot of people second guessed me till I had to start showing scars and paperwork because if you're going to call me out, I am the type that will put proof in your face. I don't care. Like, I don't. And that's my thing. I started showing proof and showing people, and I don't think people could fathom it. How anybody could just jump on a table with a 40% chance of not making it through surgery and give an organ. But I do it all over again, even with all the complications I had.
That's beautiful. That's kindness.
Yeah, the process of identifying yourself as a kidney donor What's that like to actually go through the testing process?
Well, when it was, the problem with it is that when you do the kidney process, it becomes such a big deal because they have to do your labs. They have to see if you match on all the blood points and to see if all, like, because it runs off a 6-point blood point system when they do the matching. So my best friend and his son matched up 3 out of 6 because he's an O positive donor and his son was A positive because his mother was A positive. So they only matched, they were compatible, but they were only 3 out of 6. But because I'm A positive, we matched up 5 out of 6.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, I gave my kidney without him even asking me. I told him I was going to do it because it gave his son the highest risk or the lowest risk of rejection, the highest risk of success. And my kidney put his son in the top 99 percentile in success.
Wow. So
what was your testing process like? Like, what did you have to do to determine your viability as a donor?
They do the labs. They make sure you don't have any traces of family cancer. That they have to make sure that your cancer cells aren't active. They have to make sure you have no infections and your white blood count isn't elevated. They have to make sure your BMI. You have to be under 30. At the time, I was only 10% body fat. I retain a lot of fluid now because I have 1 kidney. It takes me longer. Like after they pump me with fluids, it takes me a couple of months to discharge and get rid of all the fluid. But they turn around and make sure that your BMI is 33% or less, because anything more puts you at a higher risk of being a donor or even getting one.
What's BMI?
Your body mass index. So basically your height to your weight. And that was a big thing too, because I'm 5'10". So when I weighed myself the first time, even though I was like 10% body fat, I was like 5'10" and like 210. But I was just a lot of muscle. And when they were like, nah, you're 28% body fat, I said, do I need to take my shirt off? Like, I'm not 28% body fat. I mean, we live in an era where you can't do height to weight like that because we live in an era where people work out heavier. It wasn't that way in the 60s and 70s when they came up with the BMI scale. But now you got people like, Vin Diesel, The Rock, you know what I mean? People that naturally are bigger. Even Mark Wahlberg would be heavy for his weight. He's only 5'8". So, but that was a big thing, is your body mass index. And then after that, you just have to keep yourself safe.
Yeah. What does keeping yourself safe mean?
Like, afterwards, you have to make sure once you get approved and get that date, that you're not out there drinking heavy. Like, you can have a drink, but don't go out and get drunk, because God forbid a bed opens up for your surgery, even though they can schedule you, but God forbid there's an OR date that's open sooner. You don't want to get that call and be like, oh no, I was just at the bar 2 hours ago. And then you have to pass up that date.
Got it.
So you have to watch out and make sure you don't get any infections, because if I had even the most slightest infection from a rusty nail the day we were supposed to donate, they wouldn't have let me get on the table.
Got it. So let's move the conversation back a little towards legacy. Like, you talked a bit in the earlier part of the conversation about how what you're creating online and the way you show up in these conversations is you move to this idea of, well, what's the legacy that you're going to leave behind? What does legacy mean to you, and what do you think your legacy is so far?
Okay, so to me, legacy is the amount of impact you've had on people's life, okay? Or the amount of impact you've left in this world when you're gone. Okay, we all know you have kids, they're instantly our legacy. okay, to try to make them the best human beings we can so that at least a little bit of our knowledge still continues in this world as our legacy when we're gone. But to me, having my legacy to this point has always been, listen, I always try to tell people on my podcast, if you listen, I say it and it's no secret. Just like everybody, I wasn't the greatest 20-something-year-old human being. Was I out there hurting people, robbing people? No. But was I a bit of a dick at times? Probably. I wasn't the greatest human being. A little bit of douchey and tool in my 20s. I wasn't the greatest.
You could ask Mark. I'm in my 60s and I'm still a little bit douchey and a dick at times.
So you know what I mean? Like, and I mean, I wasn't the greatest, but when I got closer, I hit 30 and I'm 36 now. Like, I kind of locked it up and tried to get rid of most bad habits. But like, being the person I am now, I always try to tell people I'm only at where I am in this point in my life. Okay, like, I know when I go, I have a successful business that could be part of my legacy if people want, or my daughter's part of my legacy. But to me, podcasting was a part of my legacy I wanted now. Okay, because I wanted to be able to impact people's day in a positive way, like I did when I streamed, minus all the trolling. And because, listen, I mean, as great as a person as I am and strive to be better every day, I do toxic real well. Okay, you heard of Penny Hardaway? I am Petty Hardaway. Okay, I can be real petty some days. Okay, but that being said, I wanted a legacy with podcasting that, you know, I had an impact on people, because maybe there is something I said that you know, resonates with somebody. Because again, we all go through battles at times in our life that nobody knows. And especially as men, we don't run around, you know, voicing everything that's inside our heads. Okay. And at the end of the day, my whole thing is, I always tell people, I'm only where I'm at now because every time I was lost in a storm at sea, no matter what different face it was, somebody always came for me. Somebody always found me and brought me back. And so I've never had that point. As cliche as people use the term now, we survive 100% of all our bad days. Okay? It's the same way. I only did it because every time I was lost, somebody did take the time to find I was worth coming and finding. And they did bring me back mentally. So to me, that's what podcasting is about for me. It's about having that impact that, yeah, maybe somebody's having a rough day. Maybe they need to be reminded that maybe they feel like a crappy person, but maybe they need to be reminded about all the times that they were that face that found people when they were lost in their hardest times. So it's okay if you're lost and someone needs you.
Yeah. So
does that make sense? Did I answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. And so the legacy is about how you impact people and the way that they can move in their own lives as a result of someone showing up, coming for them when they need it. And they may not even be in your face, and you may not even know that there's anything occurring, but because of the way you show up on your podcasts and your streams, they get a little bit of the vibrance and the life affirming oratory that you provide, which they can then internalize and bring forth. So is there a religious or spiritual belief system that underpins the foundation of your life?
Well, first of all, like when it came to streaming, that was something my friend said, right? Like when I went live when I was in the hospital, I always went live every day because I wanted people to see that no matter what they were going through or how bad it was, it could be worse. And if I'm sitting here laughing and giving my effort to them, that they're worth it for me to want to entertain and talk to. But for me spiritually, I mean, I'm from Boston. I was raised Irish Catholic. I always make the joke that I pay for forgiveness and I don't use condoms. But I mean, I was raised Irish Catholic. And I mean, as I'm older, I still believe in a higher power. But I mean, come on, the way the world is now and all the weird things, I mean, I just believe in a bigger creator, and I believe we naturally just didn't pop up on this planet. Okay, I mean, I do believe we had a creator. I do. But I believe that like the belief system is so blurry now from everything we've been taught, because it's like this new exposure era is crazy.
Yeah. So we got people of manners, and particularly people I know who were raised Catholic and went to Catholic school as young people. There's this element of manners. And what are manners, and why do you think they're important to you?
To me, I try to keep morals and manners because I want people to see that no matter how bad, like again, I always try to be an example. Because no matter what, whether you think people are judging, people are always judging. Okay, whether people say it's a no judge zone, people are always watching the way you conduct yourself, the way you're speaking. Okay, even I do it. I can turn around and, like I said, I came in and I listen to you guys and I hear the way you guys speak. And I do. I curve some of the things I may say, and I change my manners for your podcast because I was raised to know better. Be a better version of yourself when you're in somebody else's home. So I believe that manners, are important because, again, they don't just reflect who you are. They reflect who the people that are around you or that raised you, what type of people they were. Even though we can all say there's certain circumstances, people didn't have the greatest examples and they still were, became good people. At the end of the day, most people, what's the first thing we see when a kid does something well? We go, wow, his parents raised him right. And that doesn't change. So that's why manners mean so much to me, because it does reflect the quality of people that have raised me, been put around me, and that I still keep around me. And it reflects that I'm actually probably teaching my daughter the proper way. Because if I handle myself and conduct myself that way, 9 out of 10 times my kid probably does too. And she does.
Got it. And did you raise your daughter Catholic?
Yes.
And did she keep that practice going?
Yes.
Got it.
Yep. She went to a Catholic high school up until she graduated in June. And she still, again, with life being hectic, does that mean I got to church every Sunday? No. But does that mean I didn't pray or I didn't crack a Bible open or teach? You know what I mean? I was there. My daughter went to CCD like I did. She got confirmed. We did all that. She went to Catholic high school and middle school like I did. She grew up in the whole system. But even then, I almost regretted it with her high school and not sending her to just a prep school because it's a different day and time. When I was being raised, going to a Catholic school gave you an advantage to go to college. It used to be if you had a C grade wise, a 2.0 in a Catholic school was like having a 3.4 in a public school because the curriculum was tougher. And now it's not looked at that the same way today.
Got it. Wow. Can I ask a personal question?
Yes.
As if I haven't been. Where's the mom?
So we had my daughter my freshman year of college, our freshman year of college. So my daughter's mother, her father, Manuel Trigueros, used to be the president of Conagra Foods. Her mom, Carmen Trigueros, was a top 20 chef in Philly. My daughter's mother is a trust fund baby. Like, we had my daughter. She was a part of her life until she restarted her whole family. Till she got married a second time. She went and had 3 daughters. So about 10, 11 years old, her and my daughter, we had joint. So my daughter, went to school while living with me because I was the school-oriented parent, the structured one. But at the end of the day, when she started building a family, she started just that separation where her and my daughter started. So my daughter didn't want to go over there as much. She wasn't pushing the issue. So she has a family. And my daughter's okay with, the girl I kind of see now. And, she's always had my mom and my sister. I have a small family. My father passed away a few years ago, but I have a small family. But my mom was like a mother to her. Okay, because I was going to college when my mom rented a condo out there and was helping with my daughter while I was playing baseball and going to school, because my mom wanted me to still get my degree and still have my college experience. But I always say, my daughter and I, as cliche as it sounds, we raised each other. We grew up together. 18 years old. I try to put it into perspective for her now. And I'm like, the age you are now? I was carrying you around.
Yeah. Babies having babies.
I was just fortunate that me and her mother came from good families.
That's
and
great.
They turned around. They were about us getting degrees. They were about us still being, kids, but being responsible parents too.
Yeah. So was the baby mama's parents involved for a period of time with your daughter?
They still are. My daughter has a very, very big bond with my ex-wife's father.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's just she doesn't get along really with my mother-in-law, my ex-mother-in-law. But her father, she loves and adores. They're very close, like she is with my mother. My mother and her have a bond that's crazy, but she's wicked close to me. But I always try to tell people that people don't understand that babies can tell the loving hand. Okay? If they're lucky and they get two great parents, like say you two, and you guys have significant others, so they got two great parents, babies can tell. But it was always me being the loving hand. But that's because I had very hands-on family. My dad was a cop. My mom owned hotels. I had a very hands-on upbringing. Her family being so rich, she was raised by nannies, her mother. So I think that, again, goes back to manners and upbringing. I think that had a lot to do with her not being ready and not at 18, 19 years old and being ready and staying involved, because she always had a nanny. So she didn't know what it was she didn't have that motherly bond. And I always made up for it because I had two very loving family. Like my dad, my mom, my parents were two very hands-on parents. Like my dad coached my little league baseball teams, played backyard baseball with us. My mom, took me on vacation. So, it's hands-on.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
So bringing this forward a little bit further, how do you think your spiritual history informed your understanding of comedy and fun, being funny? Right? These are the hard questions you get when you come on Moped Outlaws.
Joe, it's a good question. I'm not really quite sure how to answer that.
Thank you. That's a great answer. I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer. We should have more people that are willing to say, I don't know in this world. But
I don't know if I always tell people, I only answer questions that I know I have the answers to. So if I say something, I usually can know the answer to it. But I don't know if my spiritual really affects my comedy. What affects my comedy is a lot of what I've been through in this world. Okay, because even though on paper my family's always been there and things have always worked out at the end, and I've always been a hustler and worked hard. But I went through tough times with my mom, after her second marriage in high school, and lived in a trailer park in Florida when I could have been comfortable with my father. And at 15 years old, I manned up while still playing baseball and going to school. So to me, just being through so much in life, I always try to tell people, and my daughter gets it. I mean, she knows my mom and I always talk and stuff, but I let my pain be a source to bring people joy.
Do you think that back in biblical days that it's possible that if Jesus had stood on the Sermon on the Mount and was funny, that they may have left that out of the Bible because it just people didn't understand?
Yeah, I think they leave a lot out the Bible.
Right. So, when you think about suffering and, being a human and having a very human experience and getting through that, informing our sense of humor, we all have a lot more powerful sense of humors if we just let ourselves be part of it, right?
Absolutely. But I think also what a lot of people aren't as funny as they used to be in comedy and life because everybody has to be afraid of what they say today.
Yeah. We've talked about this, and to some degree we disagree. I see Greg sort of shaking his head there. It's hard not to say the funny thing. But the thing is, are you willing to get on the cross for saying it? That's the difference.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I do die on that hill. I die on that mountain 10 out of 10 times. And I always tell people that, and I've told people that when people say, because again, that's a lot of what I've posted on Instagram too, is a lot of people that have made collages. Like this one girl and her husband who listen to my podcast, they made an Instagram picture collage of all different quotes that I've used on the podcast and stuff, which is pretty cool. So I've posted that and stuff. But I always tell people on the podcast when they're like, "Oh, you're so funny." I'm like, well, that's because there's times that, trust me, in my head, I'm like, if I say this, it may get crickets. It may annoy somebody, or it may be hilarious. Am I willing to die on this cross? Yes, I am.
So comedy and that willingness to take that risk is being a daredevil with your mouth.
Yes.
Do you know any good dad jokes?
Why couldn't the melons get married? Because they can't elope.
Ah.
Got it. Very good. All right. Trust us, BNick is a lot funnier on his podcast than dad jokes. But Greg asked and he delivers, which is kind of the game.
Jokes. That worked.
Do you have one, Greg?
I do, but I forgot how many letters are in the alphabet.
26.
Are there?
Yeah.
For some reason, I only know 25. I don't know why.
Why?
I wish I had a cymbal sound effect for y'all.
Come on, that is a funny joke.
Yes, that is definitely an intellectual funny joke. That takes you from the gamut to A to Z on jokes.
To get serious here, I'm wondering if, and again, respecting privacy and everything, how has this young boy's life been since he received one of your kidneys?
My best friend's son's now going to college. He's a freshman this year too. He's the same age as my daughter.
Oh, wow.
So he's a freshman at Drexel. He's going to be playing basketball this year.
Wow. That's huge. So his quality of life is beyond just normal. He can excel should he choose to.
Yeah, and I always tell everybody that he's got an advantage over most people because he's never going to turn around and do a drug because he can't with his only having one kidney. He's never going to be a heavy boozer because he can't because he has one kidney. He's going to always have to stay relatively healthy. So, I feel that honestly, after I've sat down and we've always drilled it and talked to him about it since, he's great on taking his medications. I feel like he may have been young, but he was old enough to know the magnitude of what he went through. And so therefore, I think he has a leg up on people growing up now because he's going to be less likely to form bad habits. I tell him the only two habits he can have without hurting his body is gambling and porn at this point.
And those are debatable about the harm they cause to the physical well-being of
Facts.
Right.
Did you ever have challenges with drugs or alcohol or both in your life? Never did. Awesome. Do you feel that was in part because of the solidarity of your family?
I believe that my family was strong my family went the right route because my family were very open with what I could do. Like if I was going to go have a beer, I could always call my dad. It wouldn't matter. But I think because they put so much trust in me, even at such a young age, I made right choices naturally. Because I did grow up in the 90s, in that era, in Boston, where we would grab our bikes, go up on a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, ride around, our section of the city, or go to the public pool. And my friends would all have to check in, but my mom and dad trusted me to be home by the time the lights came on and that I wouldn't do anything stupid. And I'd still check in with them during the day because they trusted me and I wanted to naturally let them know that I was safe. So I feel because I had so much freedom young, it just gave me that sense that I'm great when people put trust in me. When people have no trust in me, something clicks in my mind where I'm like, if you're not going to trust me, then I'm going to give you a reason not to trust me. That's
comes out.
Yeah, petty, but so true. And if you're not going to trust me, I might as well just go with it. But if you're going to put your trust in me, then I'm going to be loyal and prove to you that you didn't make that bad decision.
All right. Well, real quickly, looking at, the Catholicism and Jesus about turning the other cheek, do you put energy into those moments to maybe, they don't trust you, but you can take the higher ground?
Yes. There's a lot of times I take the higher ground. I'd say a good 8 out of 10 times I probably take the higher ground. Then every once in a while, I get to that point where I'm like, you really want to see the villain? Let me give you. And it's mostly in my life, it comes to that point, really only comes to streaming, to be honest.
All right.
Nothing else in my life is that toxic. With my friendship, I'll wave the white flag to save a friendship. My family the same way. Even with my daughter, okay, she's 18. I know fighting with her, I'm not going to get a W. I'd rather turn around, wave the flag, and compromise because it's just like the conversation I had about all the events we know that have happened recently. And I had this talk on my podcast, and I said the worst part is the second that our world and our country and our planet can't open up the dialogue and start the conversation about anything is the second everything's going to go to hell. You have to be able to open dialogues. You have to be able to compromise. And sometimes, yes, I'm willing to take an L to get a W.
Sounds awesome. As we're getting close to wrapping this up, we have definitely have a question we ask everybody, but I have one that I want to ask. And sometimes when I say we have 2 more questions, Greg says, but wait. So I'm going to ask this one. It's actually very serious. What would you want it to say on your tombstone?
Dedicated, loving, devoted father. Loyal, trustworthy, dependable, best friend or friend and family man.
Got it. Thank you for that, B-Nick. Craig, any questions before we get to the last question? So this is the most important question of the podcast, B-Nick. So we take it very seriously, and we hope that you will too. Eminem or Foo Fighters?
Eminem.
Why?
Man, I grew up with Slim Shady. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, one of the biggest things I connected growing up with Eminem was the fact that he was such a devoted single father.
Yeah. That's a good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, how do people hear more from you, B-Nick? Where can they find you?
They can catch me on Instagram at lowercase BNickEnergy _2025. You can catch me on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. I'm trending right now. You can catch me on Podbean, 2 Nicks, 1 Cup, or Google me, 2 Nicks, 1 Cup, on the top 7 search results.
All right, we will definitely put those in the show notes so that you can click and get closer to Nick. And God, what an exciting story that you've lived through. And we hope for many more adventures to come and many more opportunities for you to continue to raise the bar in terms of humor and grace and strength and courage and love for humanity. It's been a real pleasure having you on the podcast, B-Nick.
Hey, I'm glad we made this happen. I appreciate you both. You guys are amazing hosts, great energy. Seriously, probably my favorite so far on Podmatch.
Beautiful. Thanks so much.
Recording stopped.